Ever get that, like, heart-racing feeling when you're about to lose it on a customer service call?
Oh, tell me about it.
Or maybe you've been on the other end, fuming because, like, your online order got totally botched.
Ugh, the worst.
Well, today's deep dive is all about navigating those, it's called customer service storms, you know.
I like it.
We're diving into this YouTube video, 17 ways to deal with an angry customer from CareerVids. And let me tell you, it's packed with good stuff, even if you're not, like, running a call center.
Totally. What I find so fascinating is how much of it comes down to, like, basic psychology. The video's full of techniques that are, like, straight out of a conflict resolution handbook.
Yeah, and they hit on empathy right away, but not just a quick, I get it. It's more like really trying to see things from the customer's perspective.
Exactly. It's active listening, not just hearing the words, but, like, reflecting back the emotion behind them.
Oh, totally, yeah.
They even have this great phrase for it. I would feel the same as you if I were in your situation.
You know, there's something so powerful about hearing that. It's like instant de-escalation.
Right. Because suddenly you're not just dealing with some faceless company, you're talking to another human who gets it.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And on that note, the video stresses how important it is to offer tangible solutions instead of just, like, empty apologies.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Nobody wants to hear sorry a million times. You got to back it up with action.
For sure.
So have you seen any businesses that really nail this? Like, what are some creative things they're doing?
Oh, yeah. I've seen some really cool approaches. There's this hotel chain, right? They actually empower their front desk staff to spend up to, like, $200 on the spot to make any guest issue right.
Whoa, seriously.
Ah,
That's commitment.
it shows you're serious.
It doesn't even have to be a discount, right? It could be like an upgrade, a bottle of wine, a handwritten note from the manager.
Exactly, or even something as simple as, like, comping a meal. It's about going above and beyond, not just the bare minimum.
I love that.
Yeah.
It says, we messed up, we value your business, and we're going to make it right.
Totally.
Okay, so there's this other tactic they mentioned that I'm kind of torn on, and it's using the customer's name.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, on the one hand, it can feel personal, builds rapport, but on the other hand, it can be like, whoa, are you trying to manipulate me here?
It's a fine line, for sure.
It really is. What do you think?
I think it all comes down to intention and delivery. Like, if it's genuine, if you're acknowledging someone as an individual, it can be really powerful.
Yeah.
But if it feels forced or, like, insincere,
Oh, yeah.
it can backfire big time.
So it's about reading the room, knowing your audience, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe even knowing your own personality. Like, some people can pull it off, some people not so much.
Exactly. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Okay, so there's this great anecdote in the video about this guy. We'll call him Mr. McMunn.
Okay.
He books a table at a restaurant, right? Gets a
Nice.
call a day before. They're like, so we double booked your table.
Oh, no. The worst.
I know, right? Nightmare. But the manager handles it like a pro, apologizes profusely, owns the mistake, and then says, hey, would you be open to maybe shifting your reservation to a little later?
It's a perfect example of everything we've been talking about.
Right.
Sincere apology, taking ownership, offering a solution.
It's so good. So have you ever been in Mr. McMunn's shoes where, like, something went wrong, but the way it was handled totally saved the day?
It's amazing how, like, a genuine apology can totally diffuse a situation.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, if it sounds robotic or canned,
Totally.
it can actually make things worse.
It's like you can tell when someone's just reading off a script,
Exactly. It's that human touch that makes all the difference.
For sure. And speaking of that human touch, the video also talks about clear communication and setting, like, realistic expectations.
Huge.
Have you ever noticed how much worse things get when you're, like, left in the dark?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
how long it's going to take.
The worst.
Oh,
It's like that uncertainty just breeds more frustration,
totally.
which is why it's so important to be upfront with the customer,
Right.
even if the news isn't what they want to hear.
Totally. Even if it's like, hey, this is going to take a while.
Exactly.
Oh.
Better to be honest about it.
Honesty, even when it's painful.
Right.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
It's the best policy.
Okay, so another thing they talk about is taking ownership of the problem,
Okay.
even if it, like, wasn't directly your fault.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not about taking the blame, right? It's more about taking responsibility for finding a solution.
Right.
So instead of saying, oh, that wasn't me, you'll have to talk to someone else.
Right.
You say something like, I understand this is incredibly frustrating. Let me see what I can do to get this sorted out for you.
It's subtle, but it's huge.
It makes a world of difference.
Because you're basically saying, I'm on your team.
Exactly.
Even if you weren't the one who, like, screwed up in the first place.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, there's this other thing they mentioned that I think is so smart.
Okay.
It's this idea of offering a next step.
Oh, I like that.
Because so often you get off a customer service call and you're like, wait, what happens now?
Right. Totally.
But if you have a clear sense of what's happening next,
Yeah.
it gives you like a sense of control.
Totally.
It prevents that feeling of being like passed around and forgotten.
Absolutely. It's all about providing closure and reassurance, even if the problem isn't totally solved yet.
And of course, they talk about following up.
Oh, yeah, like crucial.
It's such a simple thing,
It really is.
but it can totally change the whole experience, you know?
Totally. Like it shows you're not just trying to get rid of them, you actually care.
Right. You're invested in making sure they're actually happy.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that so rare?
It's true. It shouldn't be, but it's like when it happens, you're like, wow, okay.
Total game changer.
Yeah.
But it just shows you, right? Like these small gestures,
Huge impact.
they make a huge difference.
It's funny. We all have those customer service stories, good and bad, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you might not remember all the details.
Right.
But you remember how they made you feel.
It's so true.
Like, did they listen?
Yeah. Were they respectful?
Exactly.
Which, you know, it makes me think, this video, it's all about de-escalating anger that's already there.
Right.
But what about, like, preventing it in the first place?
Ah, now you're talking.
Right. Like, that's the dream, right?
That's the dream. Creating an experience that's so smooth,
Yeah.
so good, customers never even get to that angry place.
Right. Like, no more rage calls, no more slamming your laptop shut in frustration.
Okay.
And I think it starts with businesses really looking at their processes,
Yes. 100%.
their communication.
Yes.
Like, how can they make things easier? How can they make things more transparent?
Imagine if every website had clear instructions.
Yes.
If your shipping updates were always accurate.
Oh, my gosh.
If hold times were like a minute max.
I know. I'm already feeling calmer just thinking about it.
Right.
But seriously, think about, like, the power of anticipating those pain points.
Exactly. Instead of just waiting for complaints,
Yeah.
get ahead of it.
Be proactive.
Yeah.
So, to our listeners, what do you think? What are some ways businesses can create that, like, customer-centric experience that minimizes frustration from the get-go? Hit us with your best ideas.
Because a little prevention, right?
Goes a long way.
A long way.
And on that note, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into the art of taming the fury. We talked about the psychology, the empathy, those tangible solutions. Hopefully you walked away with some tools for those tricky situations, and hey, maybe even some ideas for how to create a smoother ride for your own customers. Until next time, keep those cool heads.